Stars of Bowling is presented in part in cooperation with the Kentucky Post, where on Tuesday, Marketplace Extra, designers rely on capital ideas to generate capital. Kentucky Post, putting Northern Kentucky first. We are back at LaRu Lanes in Highland Heights in match number 2. I'm Denny Wright along with Rick Hitt, and we had a pretty good match in that first game. Tony Sholler kind of held on and did what he had to do to win. It wasn't a spectacular performance for Tony, but he'll take it.
Yeah, Tony threw the ball well. He only had one ball out of the pocket. Just had pin carry problems.
Right.
I think that's going to be the case with all the bowlers today because the back ends are a little bit wet. A little carry down in the back ends with a conditioner.
This one ought to be a good one.
Yeah, good match here. We got a left-hander, right-hander.
Right.
Both bowling scratch, and both of them bowling on the same area of the lanes in their respective areas, and they both are facing about the same condition.
Both veterans. Mike Crail, who will be up first on lane 13 against Tony Sholler as he goes into match number 2. And as we mentioned, both have been here before. Mike has got a dossier that goes back 2 pages full, starting in 1985. And there you can see why. Mike has come out firing. He's a veteran of 17 years with 3 300s, a couple 299s, an 822 series. Very interesting. 14 300 games for Tony Sholler, but he's never rolled an 800.
Never had an
795.
Very difficult to reach that 800. You know, I was talking the first match, Tony was throwing a urethane ball, but he's actually throwing a reactive resin urethane, which I was mistaken on, and that's going to create a little less hook in the back end. But
Right.
Tony can make the adjustments to go direct. I don't think he's going to elect to change equipment right now.
No. No, and I think he, being against Mike Crail, who he has known for some time, Tony from Taylor Mill and Mike from Melbourne, looks like just with that first shot on 14, he has stepped up his game another notch.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he knows the heat's on. It's not going to be no give me this time, so he's going to have to make good shots. Biggest thing is he's got to adjust to his carry. He's got to make sure he gets enough drive on the ball to carry the pins out of the rack.
There it is, a double, opening double for Tony Sholler. This ought to be fun to watch. I'm just going to sit back and watch it.
I think you're going to see both bowlers throw strikes as long as they get the carry because they're capable of doing that. We know they both have shot a lot of 300s. The biggest key is who makes the mistake first.
Right. Left a 10 pin. Not quite enough ball on the back end for Mike.
Well, Mike, if you notice there at the foul line, he kind of had a little hop, a little bit off balance, and got a little off. Create the ball to skid. Got a little wider, and the ball skidded on him. Didn't get the drive. Almost left the 5-10 and takes the 5 out and has the 10 to convert.
Mike is averaging 217. Tony averaging 224 on the year. So make it easy to keep score this game. You don't have to add the handicap in first.
No handicap in this one. Nice scratch match. Watching the two bowler styles,
Right.
Tony's a more classic bowler. Very smooth at the line, very well balanced. Mike has a little bit of imbalance at the line. But there again, that just goes to show you that by the book isn't always what works.
No.
Mike's a very good bowler.
No, it is.
Capable of getting the ball to the pocket and scoring.
See, he has his hand underneath the ball and comes through it nicely with a lot of rotation. He pulled at Brooklyn, got a 4-pin.
Yeah, I think Mike found out in the his shadow balls and also in the first match here, the first frame, that if he gets the ball a little bit wide, it wants to hang on him. And he's trying to hold a little tighter. He got a little bit of a tug on it. The conditioner's not heavy enough to hold the ball. He crosses over. You got a makeable spare.
Converts to spare. 39 through the second, and a spare in the third for Mike Crail. Tony Scholler's opening double. I got a feeling Tony might roll a heck of a game this time. I don't know why, but knowing Tony like I do, and knowing that he thrives on competition, no break on the 7-pin.
Making excellent shots. Tony's staying down at the line real nice, putting extra turn on the ball as opposed to the first game, trying to get the ball to drive the pins out. Throws a terrific shot here and comes in, gets a little deflection.
A little bit.
Leaves us swishing 7.
You can see that second frame, that head pin is airborne.
Right.
Cross lane 4 of the 7. And he converts a 7-pin. 10-pin lead, 49-39. Ron Beck, our scorekeeper for everyone here. Subbing for Babette Norris is our alternate. High lady finisher. Tony Sholler on lane 13 with a 10-pin lead. Nice roll. Tripped it out.
Boy, Tony made an excellent shot there, Denny. Gets the ball into the target area he wants to, gets good turn. Actually got a little deflection, looking for the weak 10 again, but got the nice kick, the 6 out of the channel to knock the 10 out. They're both the gentlemen today, best I can tell, are throwing reactive resin balls. I personally, on this type of condition, would prefer to throw a urethane on these wet back ends. A lot of the people that watch the show talk to me about the commentaries we do, and they're interested in the equipment and what's going on. And a lot of times when you got a lane condition where your ball doesn't want to finish hard or react in the back end, that's where the urethane ball sometimes can be beneficial. Some reactives can if the proper drilling's done.
A double opportunity for Mike Crail as he gets up in the 5th frame. Yeah, anybody who's interested in equipment or purchasing, we invite him to stop by Hits Pro Shop at Walt Center Lanes. Tell you one thing, this gentleman knows the game and he can fit you properly.
Mike's not what we would call a cranker. He gets a lot of roll in the ball, gets good fingers up under, good wrist, and gets heavy roll in the ball. And right there is a perfect example of heavy roll. The ball comes light into the pocket as opposed to leaving something weak, just saws them out. And that's roll that does that.
A lot of times you're better off being a roller. You get a better carry.
Now, revolutions and hook is great if you can control it, and also if you can create roll with it. But if you don't get the roll, you don't get the carry.
A double for Tony Sholler. This is a dandy match. Both bowlers with doubles in the 4th and 5th. Tony maintains a 10-pin lead. He can increase that lead to 20 with a 3-bagger here in the 6th.
Yeah, a classic match here. We were hoping for this scratch match. Both these gentlemen are able to post scores, and Mike steps up and puts up his first double.
Yep.
And Tony answers the call and keeps his 10-pin lead.
These guys know the game. There's no question about it. Came tight. You can see that. He took a little speed off of it. 6-10.
If Tony's got an open condition to where he knows he can hook the ball hard to the pocket and carry, he'll never make that mistake he just made.
Right.
That comes from the fact that he knows if he gets a little quick or a little wide, the ball doesn't want to drive. So he's trying to put a little more and a little straighter, got a little soft with it, and the ball rolled up high. Got a good break, and he's got a convertible spare here.
Look out. I could see that coming. I was just thinking this. That one gives me nightmares all the time. That's 6-10.
Yeah, that's a mistake that we were talking about. Who's going to make the first mistake?
Yep.
It hasn't cost Tony the match, but it's let Mike back in. They're even up now, and he can take a lead with the strike here.
Mike's been flirting with that Brooklyn side and that head pin a lot. Let's hope that he doesn't jump up with the split all of a sudden. Not that way. That cleared the deck.
Made a good shot. Mike knows that if he gets the ball out to where he wants it, and he's a little fast, the ball's going to slide. He gets the ball out to target instead of pulling it, and he slows up on the speed and lets it roll up and carries great. Terrific shot.
That was good loft and extension by Mike Crail that time.
Mike takes the lead with that shot. That was a serious mistake Tony made missing that spare.
A 4-bagger for Mike Crail. And he has taken the lead. 119 to 116 in the 5th frame. Tony Sholler trying to right the ship here in the 7th frame. He got that a bit far out. 5-8. Tony has made that mistake on the last lane and now is adjusting on 14, and he got it out, as you say, he did earlier the same thing. He got out a little far and it just did not finish back properly.
Yeah, Tony's not real relaxed right at this moment with the shot. He's had trouble with his carry. He's tried to force it. The last shot where he got inside has forced him to get the ball wide, starting to steer the ball. What he needs to do at this point is say, I know where I need to be at, put it around the pocket. If I get my carry, I can force some pressure on Mike and just relax and let it go. He can't make it happen.
No.
He can't make the carry happen. So if he can just, in his mindset right now, he says, I just got to put the ball in play and keep it around the pocket. Let's see what can happen through the 8th, 9th, and 10th frames here.
Outstanding throw by Tony Sholler that time.
Terrific shot. We got Tony at a capability of going out at 235. Can put a lot of pressure on Mike. Mike having 4 and 4 bagger right now is in the driver's seat. He's on a pace of 219 if he doesn't string it out. So we'll have to see how it goes. Right now, there's a chance for Tony to put some pressure on him. He can double up when he comes back up.
The game right now is in Mike Crail's court. Light 10-pin. He needs to hold this 10-pin to have a 23-pin lead.
He spares here, keeps a 23-pin. You can see that ball got a little wide, come in light. Actually had the 5-10 for a few moments, but shook out the 5 and has to shoot the 10.
Cross lane for the 10. Nicely done. 168 to 145 through 7.
I'd like to thank Waltz Center Lanes for qualifying the bowlers last week out at Waltz, and also LaRu for hosting the TV show here this week.
Right.
We appreciate that.
I think our new format this year of having 2 tapings on one sitting is working out very nicely.
That works out real good. It makes it convenient. It also gives the bowlers a chance to qualify on one condition and then see what the versatility they have to bowl their show on another condition.
And also, I might mention the crew appreciates it, as it said.
Cuts that workload down.
It does.
For the crew a little.
Sure does. 188 through 8 and a strike in the 9th. So Tony Sholler must go out from here and hope for the best.
Mike Crail, if he doesn't double, is on a pace of 228, and if Tony can strike out, he needs to strike here in the 9th, and the first 2 in the 10th, he can get on a 235 pace.
Short pin.
What's a backbreaker? That's a good shot on Tony's part, in my opinion. He gives the ball a little room, trusts it, don't try to force anything, make any serious mistakes. Comes in a little light, and there again with these conditioner carried down the back, and just doesn't get enough power on the ball to get the 7-pin out. He needed that strike bad. He's not out of it, but he needs Mike to make a mistake at this point.
Well, that could be a fatal mistake right there. He was off balance at the line. So he can strike out for 203 if he throws 3 in the 10th. And basically, Mike, if he does strike out, needs 6 count.
Yeah, that was a critical mental error on Tony's part. I think he felt he needed that strike in the 9th to have a chance, but he really didn't. If he spares there, he's got a chance to go 214 and keep the pressure on Mike to do something in the 10th. That open pretty much takes the pressure off Mike Crail.
There's the first one in the 10th.
Yeah, the spare in the 9th frame that Tony missed, he makes that spare. He forces Mike to mark in the 10th frame. And if something happens that Mike would step up over the 10th, Tony's going to shoot himself for missing that spare in the 9th frame.
Bowling is one of the, I guess bowling and golf are 2 of the sports that you can say there's no defense whatsoever.
Absolutely none. The only defense you have in bowling is if you can throw strikes to create pressure.
That's exactly right. Create pressure on the other person. That's the only defense you have.
So that becomes an offensive game any way you look at it.
It sure does. So another one for Tony Sholler gives him a double in the 10th. One more will be 203.
You know, Denny, there's some bowlers that even throwing strikes, you can't apply any defense, because I've had 9 in a row against guys, and they have 9 in a row right with
Yes.
me. It doesn't phase them. Doesn't phase them.
I've done that a couple times, and that's been a fun situation. So it's 202 for Tony Sholler. Not up to his standards by any stretch of the imagination, but for most people, they'll be very satisfied to take a 202. Mike Crail just needs 5 pins. And he got 5 more than he needed. So Mike Crail will win our second match. You have willed the left-hander into the next match.
I wasn't even thinking about it. It just becomes natural. The left-hander comes through.
I know you left-handers have to stick together.
We need to.
Mike Crail threw a very good match.
I was out in San Francisco a couple weeks ago when I was out there bowling in Reno in the ABC Nationals, and I run into a place over there, and a guy had a little bumper sticker up that said that we're all born right-handed, and some of us are great enough to overcome it. So
that's a great sign.
I just wonder if that's true. Some of the right-hand bowlers make me wonder if a left-hander has any talent at all sometimes.
There's a lot of right-handers out there, and you wonder sometimes whether or not that's good or bad, because if you get a bunch of right-handers on a pair of lanes, they can change the oil configuration, and it makes a big difference sometimes.
Oh yeah, it does. A lot of times it puts the right-handers at a disadvantage because of the wear and tear on the right side of the lanes. And in other cases, sometimes it's the other way around. The left side conditioner can get so heavy it's hard to get good ball reaction. I never worry about it too much. It all balances out.
You can't. You just get up there and throw the ball where you think it should be and hope. So a nice spare and a 237. Our winner of our second game is Mike Crail over Tony Sholler by score 237 to 202. Mike Crail will now advance into our third game and take on our high qualifier, Victor Osborne, right after this word.